NCAA Final Four is here this Saturday, April the 5th. All number one seeds. Chalk heavy. Hey, that's the new reality we live in here. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But first time since 2008 that all four number one seeds have made the Final Four. It's going to be some great matchups, and I think there's some good betting opportunities as well. I'm going to break down the side and total for both games for you. Florida Auburn, Houston Duke. All of your Final Four info coming up free right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, and I've done every single game in the NCAA tournament for you, and I will continue to do so, both Final Four games here in this video, and then I'll be back on Monday with the National Championship game as well. So if you're finding it useful, thumbs up, like, comments below, and I will keep it coming. Don't forget also, click subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert so you know when these videos are posted, including that National Championship game video for Monday. All right, let's go down in start time order. Both these games, by the way, in San Antonio, Texas on Saturday night on CBS National TV. The Alamo Dome. Round them up. We're going to go with Florida Auburn first. This is the 6:09 Eastern tip-off. Battle of the SEC, and these two teams know each other well. And yes, they did play once in the regular season. And yes, Florida blew them out, at least on the scoreboard, but it was a little misleading. Don't read too much into that blowout win way back earlier this season. It wasn't a blowout win. It was 90-81, but I say it was a blowout win because Florida was up by 21 in the second half of that game, but it was because of three-point shooting. Gators are red hot from three-point range, 13 for 33. They were plus 18 points overall from three-point range and won by just 9, and that's because Auburn was actually plus 10 from two-point range. So once again, as is often the case with many of these games, it's going to come down to three-point shooting and whether, Florida is red hot again. You would think in the Alamo Dome, big setting. I know teams are more used to this than they were maybe a couple of decades ago. Sightlines, though, this is going to be more of a problem maybe for the first games on Saturday than it would be for the finals on Monday for their second game here. So I don't expect Florida to shoot quite as well. And I run several different sets of power ratings. Some of them have Pick'em, Florida -1, even Auburn -1. So I think a fair line on this game is Pick'em. The current price is 2.5. Looks a little inflated to me. I really think this is an even matchup, and I would lean towards Auburn at plus 2.5. We even saw some threes earlier this week. In fact, just to show how equal these two teams are, there are 364 Division I basketball teams this year, and these two teams have the exact equal three-point defense, 29.6% allowed, sixth in the nation, exact to the 10th of a decimal. They also are both top 7 effective field goal defense. They both have the exact same effective field goal offense, 55.1% exact, 31st in the nation. It's really incredible. Exact same offense, effective field goal, same three-point defense to the 10th of a decimal. These two teams are pretty equal. I think Pick'em is a fair line, so I do feel like there's some value with Auburn as a dog in this game. Should be a great game, and I think the line a little bit inflated based on that regular season meeting, which once again, yes, was 21-point blowout in the second half for Florida. They won by 9, but it really was 3-point variance on the road in that one. As far as the total in this one, we definitely saw some sharp early money come in on the under. Opened as high as 162 earlier this week. It's now down to 160, even some 159s out there. So we'll say 159.5 right now is the consensus number. Sharp money is on the under in this game, and I agree with that early move. Pace of play should be fast. Both these teams like to play up-tempo. But once again, big Alamo Dome, sightlines, huge game. Maybe a little bit of a slow start here. So you could also look at the first half under, take some of that free throw uncertainty out of the game. Late in the game, obviously, fouling becomes an issue. But as is often the case, that is factored into the line. As we know, college basketball, first and second half lines are almost 3 to 4 baskets different because second halves are higher scoring. Once again, the full game here is about 159, 160. First half is 76. That'd be like 83.5 for the second half. So once again, first half line's about 7.5 points lower than the full game. But once again, you could take a bit of a slow start and also the uncertainty of the shooting in the Alamo Dome. First half under, I do think, makes some sense as well with the full game under. There's some line value there. And once again, we look at that initial meeting earlier this season back on February 8th at Auburn. Yes, it was a blowout, and the total score in that game was 171, but it actually wasn't a real fast pace. The tempo of that game was about 74, which actually is pretty fast. But once again, when you get a blowout like that and teams hitting threes, it can throw things off a bit. I think this game will be lower scoring than the 171 we saw in the regular season meeting. Once again, that's Florida-Auburn, 6:09 Eastern, Saturday night on CBS. Oh, by the way, looking at some public consensus data, nothing crazy in this game. Public normally leans towards favorites and overs. lean towards Florida and lean towards the over as far as the public consensus. So once again, a little bit of a fade the public with Auburn and the under if you're looking at it that way. All right, let's look at your late game here in a moment. Houston, Duke, maybe the two best teams in the country. Just a quick reminder, you can still enter my free Final Four contest on my page right now at WagerTalk.com. I put up the side and total for both games and also 12 player props. 3 for Florida, 3 for Auburn, 3 for Houston, and 3 for Duke. We got to 16 selections, and if you get 11 or more out of the 16 right, you win free best bet service anywhere from 1 day up to 1 full year, a $2,000 value of my personal best bets for free. It is free to enter, and that link is on my homepage right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/sm. You see it down in the corner there. That'll get you to my page quicker so you can enter that free contest. You have until the first game tips on Saturday. 1 entry per person free. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, let's look at this Houston-Duke game now. This one goes at 8:49 Eastern, second game Saturday night on CBS. And Houston looks really good. Obviously, their defense is fantastic. Offensively, they've always been a top 10 efficiency team heading into the tournament in recent years. But they always had that one off game, and that's why they've only made the Elite Eight 3 of the last 5. But now they're in the Final Four, and you do have to wonder if that off game was against Purdue back in the Sweet 16 when they escaped with a 62-60 win. Maybe they got it out of their way, and they're going to play a little bit better. They looked really good against Tennessee, just shut down suffocating defense, held the Vols to 50 points. Duke, though, is a different animal in this game, and the line is a little inflated. I make a raw power rating around 3.5. Duke opened 4.5. It's now up to 5. That was a little bit of sharp money, by the way, I believe, early in the week. I don't disagree, though. The Blue Devils are the best team in the tournament. They're the best team in the nation. And it's going to be a very difficult matchup for Houston, especially for Houston to score. So this could be that offensive game that usually gets them bumped from the tournament. Duke, will they struggle against Houston's defense? Perhaps, but the Blue Devils are a much more balanced offensive attack. They rank top 7 in the nation in both 2-point percentage and 3-point percentage. Houston, the second best 3-point shooting team in the country, but they rank only 281st in 2-point percentage. Not nearly as balanced. And they don't take many threes. In fact, Houston takes the majority of their shots. About 65% of their shots are non-3-pointers. That's going to be a problem against the third best interior defense in the country. Duke Blue Devils give up just 43% down low. National average is 51%. Houston shoots just 48% down low. So real disadvantage for the Cougars in the paint, especially against Duke's length and size. Blue Devils do take more 3-point shots, but they can also score down low. And Houston gives up a lot of threes. So once again, I expect Duke to win the 3-point battle. Yes, the Alamo Dome, the big setting, a little bit of uncertainty with 3-point shooting, but Duke can score down low as well. And I think they hold the overall matchup edge here. So I do like the Blue Devils to advance. And these probably are the two best teams in the country right now. So tough matchup for Houston. I lean towards Duke in this one. As far as the total, I just mentioned I think Houston's going to have a tough time scoring. And these are two great defensive teams. In fact, if you look at adjusted defensive efficiency, they both rank top 4 in the nation. Houston's been 1 or 2 almost every year. They're the top 2 effective field goal defenses in the country. Let that sink in. 364 teams. And by the way, if you're not familiar with effective field goal percentage, I like it better than overall field goal percentage because it factors in 1.5 times for 3s versus 2s. And so these are basically the 2 best defensive teams in the country if you go by effective field goal percentage defense, first and second. In fact, Duke ranks ahead of Houston in that category. I was surprised how high this total is. I project this game to maybe be in the 120s, so I do think there's some value with the under 136 right now in this game. Open 136.5, it's been bumped down to about 136, some 135.5s out there at the sharper books. I agree with the sharp lean to the under in this one. And once again, if I lean Duke and I lean under, hey, why not look at a team total, right? Because that would make sense as well. I think Houston especially will struggle to score in this game. And also, you do worry about free throws once again late in the game. But if Duke has the lead, they'll be the team shooting the free throws. Houston will not. So I think Houston team total under 65.5 is a nice play in this game. Once again, Duke an excellent defense. I think Houston's going to struggle more offensively. And it also takes some of that late game foul free throw shooting away if Duke has the lead. Houston team total under 65.5 is another sneaky way to play this game on Saturday night. Once again, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I read the comments and I reply back. Sides, totals, player props. Once again, I've got 12 player props listed in my free contest. The leading scorers for all the teams, over under points. How do you think it'll affect this game? Which players do you think will have breakout games or maybe underperform in this one? And by the way, the public consensus data, I was a little surprised in the Duke game. I thought maybe there'd be a public lean on Houston getting so many points. Because, by the way, that line looks inflated. As I said, Houston has not lost any game in regulation this year by more than 5 points. And the only game in which that happened, the 5-point loss, came against Auburn, by the way, earlier this season. But that was a little bit misleading because Houston actually led outright on average in that game, including a 9-point lead with less than 15 minutes to go in the game. And it was also a much lower scoring than the final margin indicated, as it was just 107 points. It was 56-51 with about 6-7 minutes remaining. And then Auburn pulled away. That game was way back, by the way, on November 9th, second game of the season. It landed on 143, but once again, they had only 107 points with about 6 minutes to go in the game. Houston also lost in 5 in overtime to Alabama, lost in 3 in overtime to San Diego State, and lost by 1 in overtime to Texas Tech. So once again, this is a team that's gone 34-4 this year. 3 overtime losses and a 5-point regulation loss is another reason why I do feel like that line looks a little inflated. But once again, I do think Duke's the best team in the country, and they match up well in this game. A little surprised, as I was saying, that Houston is not more of a public dog, but the public consensus is actually leaning Duke a bit in this one, and also leaning Duke over. So that's another reason maybe why that total is higher than I thought it should be. As we know, lowest totals go under, right? Highest totals go over. Public is playing this one over, and they lean towards Duke as well. That's your late game on Saturday night. There you go. Final Four breakdown. Continue to give you every NCAA tournament game for free here, video style, and I will do so again with the finals on Monday night. Make sure you click subscribe. You click that bell for an instant alert so you never miss out when these free play videos are posted. Also, I will continue with the NBA videos. I plan on doing every NBA playoff game for you in a couple weeks when the playoffs begin. Baseball videos as well. If you're finding it useful, thumbs up, like, and the more positive comments below, the more free play videos I will keep doing on a daily basis right here on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget, if you want my personal best bets for the Final Four for Saturday, also my NBA, my daily Major League Baseball, check out my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. You'll see the entry link for the free Final Four contest, which can win you up to a full year, $2,000 worth of my best bet service. You will also see a special promo code for the one-year package, an instant $811 discount on that one-year all-access, which gets every college and pro football, basketball, and baseball best bet for the next 365 days and nights, and gets it down to about $1 a play. Promo code SM365. Think about it. Last year, we went over 100 units in baseball alone. I was number 1 in the NBA. I'm number 1 all-time in NBA profit. NBA playoffs begin this month. Baseball is here for another 6 months. Football right around the corner. This is a great time to take a serious, consistent, long-term investment approach. And when you do so, the one-year all-access is the best package, especially when you use promo code SM365. You can also get a daily free play. Last cut from my best bet card is always posted as a free play for everybody on my page. So check out the free play. Check out the link to the free contest. Check out the promo codes and specials. And check out the strong best bets for Saturday and this weekend overall. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. Shortcut WT.buzz/SM. Follow me also on social media at Steve Merril. You see on the bottom of the screen, you know the deal, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to WagerTalk TV because you also know there's more free play videos coming up next.